Welcome to the Sallie Tomato YouTube channel. I'm Jess and today I'll be your instructor for the Audrey tote bag pattern. Step by step, I'll show you how to make this modern tote from start to finish. This chic tote has a top zipper closure, options for quilting and even embroidery, a hidden exterior zipper pocket, an interior slip pocket, a crossbody strap, and features optional eye-catching metal handles to not only adorn your bag, but offer the option to carry your bag by hand. The name was inspired by the film and fashion icon Audrey Hepburn and the simple, stylish bags that she carried. Please be sure to purchase the pattern before taking this class. The pattern and your supplies can be purchased from our website or request them at your local quilt shop. Please remember to shop local whenever you can. I encourage you to pause this video as the lessons progress so that way you can sew along with me. Let's get started on this fun project. I'll see you in class.
Start by cutting out your pieces according to the pattern. If you want to quilt your bag, you'll need to cut the exterior and foam front and back pieces a little bit larger listed in your pattern. Then, with right sides up, layer the exterior front on top of the foam front, aligning all edges. I recommend to use temporary adhesive spray to hold the layers together instead of pins or clips, but you certainly could use those as well. Then you can quilt your front and back panels as desired. You'll repeat for the back pieces. Then after quilting, you will trim the front and back to measure according to your pattern. Next, we will make the hidden zipper pocket. If you already quilted your front and back pieces, skip to the next step. With right sides up, layer the exterior front on top of the foam front, aligning all edges. I recommend to use temporary adhesive spray to hold the layers together, but you could certainly use pins or clips all the way around the edges. Top stitch all four sides with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, then repeat for the back pieces. Next, take your zipper pocket pieces, and we're going to iron the bottom edge a 1/2 inch to the wrong side on each piece. I like to use a hot hammer, and this tool you can directly iron over top of it. So simply place it against the wrong side of your fabric and bring the raw edge up to the measurement that you want your hem to measure. Then just simply press it with your iron. After both pieces are pressed, take one zipper pocket piece, and on the wrong side, mark a horizontal line down from the top edge, mark a second horizontal line down from the line just marked, and then also mark a vertical line in from each side according to your pattern. The lines will create a zipper placement box. Measure according to your pattern. Then, with right sides together, center the marked pocket on the exterior front down from the top edge according to your pattern. Pin in place. Sew together along the zipper placement box line. I like to use a shorter stitch length. This will help in a later step when we turn the lining through and create the zipper pocket. On the wrong side, use a seam ripper or a small scissors to carefully cut out the foam from the zipper placement box close to the stitching. Then cut a horizontal line through the center of the placement box, stopping about a 1/2 inch from both ends. Then cut diagonally up to the corners from both ends of the center line. Make sure to cut through all the layers. Do not cut through the stitching. Next, fold the pocket through the opening to the wrong side of the front and iron in place from both sides of the front. Apply basting tape to each raw edge of the zipper. And on the wrong side of the front, center your zipper right side down over the placement opening. The pull and the right side of the teeth should show through on the right side of the front. If you're right-handed, you'll want your zipper pull to open to the right, and if you're left-handed, you'll want it to open to the left, so you'll position your zipper accordingly. On the right side of the front, top stitch an 1/8 inch from the zipper placement. A zipper foot or an edge stitch foot will help stitch close to the edge. You can trim the excess zipper even with the side edges of the pocket. Then on the wrong side, place the remaining zipper pocket piece right side down over the attached zipper pocket piece. Align all the edges and pin only the sides and the top edges, leaving the bottom open. And just be careful that you don't pin through the exterior or the foam at all. Then you'll move the front away from the top pinned edge. Sew the full width of the pocket across the top with 5/8 inch seam allowance. It's easiest to do this with the pocket pieces against the bed of your sewing machine. Next, you'll move away the front from the sides of the pocket and sew the full length of each pocket side with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Do not sew the bottom edge. We will turn the bag right side out through this opening later on. After sewing, unfold the front and iron out any creases. Then, this is very important, unzip the zipper completely to prepare for turning the bag later on. Next, take your zipper cover and fold it in half with right sides together. You'll want to pin the raw edges. Sew together along the raw sides and bottom edge with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, leaving about 3 inches unsewn along the bottom edge for turning. Trim off the corners without cutting through the stitching. Then turn the cover right side out. You can use a Sallie Tomato essential turning and creasing tool to help smooth out the edges with the curved end and make for those nice crisp points. Tuck the raw edges of the opening to the wrong side so the fold is even with the bottom edge. You can use an iron or a steamroller to give your zipper cover a good press. Then top stitch the seamed edges, so just the sides and the bottom, with an 1/8 inch seam allowance. With right sides up, center the zipper cover on the exterior front according to your pattern down from the top edge. The folded edge of the zipper cover should be towards the top, and make sure that the zipper pocket lining is down out of the way. Pin the zipper cover in place. Top stitch the zipper cover along the top edge, creating a triangle in each top corner and an 1/8 inch seam allowance. Fuse interfacing to the wrong side of the exterior strap connector piece. With wrong sides together, fold the long sides of the strap connector to the middle and press. Top stitch a 1/4 inch from each long side. Subcut the strap connector into 2 equal pieces. Then slide 1 D-ring over the end of each strap connector. With wrong sides together, fold the raw ends of the connector so they meet in the middle. Make sure each connector measures according to your pattern. Then, with right sides up, position 1 connector on the front, down from the top edge, and in from the left side edge according to your pattern. Using a zipper foot or a narrow foot, top stitch the connector to the front, starting along the hardware, then pivot to sew along the remaining edges, an 1/8 inch from the edges. You'll repeat on the back with the remaining connector, measuring down from the top edge and in from the left side edge. Skip to the next section of directions if you don't want to add purse feet to the bottom of your bag. On the right side of the front and back, measure up from the bottom edge and in from each side edge to mark the placement for the purse feet. You'll insert 1 purse foot where the marks intersect. I like to use our Sallie Tomato rotary punch to punch the hole for the purse feet. Then simply poke the prongs of the foot through from the right side to the wrong side. On the wrong side, place a washer over the prongs, bend the prongs away from the center, and add some permanent glue to the wrong side to just help hold the hardware in place. If you have any extra interfacing, you can cover the wrong side of the hardware with the interfacing and iron it over the hardware to help protect the inside of your bag from wear and tear from the purse feet. Skip to the next section of directions if you don't want to add metal purse handles to your bag. These are completely optional. We have 2 styles currently available on our website. There's round handles, which are super easy to install, very modern and minimalist looking. They're very comfortable to carry on your wrist. Our other option are arch handles. These have an arch and then also some little connectors to connect the arch handle to your bag. This takes a little bit more time to install, but it's just as easy and looks super chic and fabulous. If you want to install this hardware, on the right side or the wrong side of your project, on the front and back, you will mark the top center, and you'll also mark 1.5 inches down from the top edge. This will be the placement for the metal purse handles. You'll insert one handle where the marks intersect. See the pattern for tons of tips, and also visit our YouTube channel for specific tutorials on installing round metal handles or arch metal handles. I'll show you step by step how easy they are to install. Also, reference your pattern for any other additional measurements and tips. Next, we're going to make and attach the slip pocket. To create the slip pocket for the lining, fold the pocket in half with right sides together so the pocket measures according to your pattern. Align the bottom and sides and pin the layers together. You'll sew the bottom and sides with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, leaving a 3-inch opening on the bottom edge. Trim the corners, being careful to not cut through the stitches. Turn the slip pocket right side out and use the essential turning and creasing tool to help push out the corners and smooth out the edges. Tuck the raw edges of the pocket opening to the wrong side so the fold is even with the bottom edge. You can press with the seam roller or with your iron. Then top stitch the top edge 1/4 inch from the edge. With right sides up, center the slip pocket according to the pattern up from the bottom raw edge of the lining back panel. Pin or tape the edges in place. Top stitch the sides and bottom edge of the pocket 1/8 inch from the edges. Then top stitch a second row 1/4 inch in from the first. This top stitching will seal the opening in the bottom of the pocket closed and add reinforcement around the edges to secure it in place. Mark, then cut out a square in each bottom corner of the exterior front, exterior back, lining front, and back panels according to the pattern. With right sides together, align all edges of the exterior front and back, clip together with sewing clips, sew the sides and bottom edge with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. After sewing, you'll trim the seam allowance to 1/4 inch wide. With right sides together, align all edges of the lining front and back. Start sewing at the top of one side with a 1/2 inch seam allowance and gradually increase your seam allowance to 5/8 inches wide as you reach the bottom edge. Repeat to sew the opposite side, then sew the bottom edge with 5/8 inch seam allowance. The increased seam allowance in the lining will help it fit better inside your bag. This technique works with almost any bag pattern. After sewing, trim the seam allowance to 1/4 inch wide. Next, we'll create the box bottom corners. With right sides together, match the side seam and bottom seam and align the raw edges. You'll do this for the exterior and also the lining. Sew together with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, making sure to backstitch at each end. After sewing, you'll trim the corners to reduce the bulk. Be careful not to cut through the seam. Next, we'll attach the zipper and assemble the bag. I'm using Sallie Tomato No. 5 zippers by the yard. Our zippers have a nylon coil which appears to be metal, so the nylon coil is safe to cut and sew over, but has a professional look since you can coordinate it with your hardware. Our zippers are available in 5 coil colors to match hardware, and then also a variety of tape colors, including neutral options and a few colors as well. Visit our YouTube channel for tutorials on putting on the zipper pulls, on the raw end of tape, and cutting the length of zipper that you need. We also have a full tutorial, complete introduction on how to use zipper by the yard, so be sure to check those out. With wrong sides together, fold each side of the zipper at a 90-degree angle and stitch it in place. You'll also want to stitch over the very end of the zipper. that's closed. This will help prevent the pull from coming off. Then open the zipper completely without sliding the pull off. Turn the exterior and lining right side out. With right sides together, position one side of the zipper along the top edge of the exterior. The folded end of the zipper should be a measurement away from the side seam. Be sure to check your pattern for the measurement. Pin or clip the raw edge of the zipper to the top raw edge of the bag, and as you reach the opposite side seam, begin to taper the zipper away from the top edge according to the pattern. Sew the zipper in place with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Make sure to backstitch over the ends. Repeat for the opposite side of the zipper and the exterior. After sewing, test your zipper to make sure it opens and closes evenly. There should be about 2 inches of zipper tape that extends past the stitching on both the front and the back. Turn the exterior wrong side out. With right sides together, put the lining inside the exterior, aligning the top edges and the side seams. Double check that your hidden zipper pocket is unzipped, then clip or pin around the entire top edge. Next, you'll sew the entire top edge with 3/8 inch seam allowance, making sure that the zipper and the hardware are out of the way as you sew. Turn the bag right side out by pushing the exterior and lining through the bottom unsewn edge of the hidden zipper pocket. Next, top stitch the bottom edge of the hidden zipper pocket closed with an 1/8 inch seam allowance. After sewing, push the pocket through the zipper opening and arrange it in place. Then you'll push your lining down into the exterior and smooth it so it fits nicely inside the exterior. Use your fingers to roll the top seam to make sure that the top edge is tight and flat. You can pin it in place or use some sewing clips if you want. Then you'll top stitch around the top edge with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. The next step is to finish the raw end of the top zipper. There are 2 options included in the pattern. You can use a metal zipper end, which can be attached to the end of the tape. Simply follow the manufacturer's instructions or watch our YouTube tutorial on how to easily install this hardware. The second option is to attach a fabric zipper tab. Included in the pattern are instructions how to create the zipper tab and finish off the raw end of the tape, or visit our YouTube channel for a step-by-step tutorial to visually see how to create this. I'm going to show you how to make a crossbody strap out of cotton or canvas fabric. Start by joining the exterior crossbody strap pieces by placing the ends right sides together perpendicular to each other, overlapping the ends a bit. You'll sew a diagonal seam from corner to corner. You can mark this with chalk, or if your machine has a laser light capability, just simply sew from corner to corner. After sewing, trim the seam allowance to measure a 1/4 inch wide. Compress the seam open with your iron, or try using a seam roller for quick and easy pressing at your sewing machine. If desired, you can top stitch an 1/8 inch from each side of the seam. Then trim the excess even with the edges. Next, we're going to apply the interfacing. Center and fuse your interfacing to the wrong side of the crossbody strap, overlapping the ends by a 1/4 inch to meet the required length. Then press each short end of the crossbody strap a 1/2 inch to the wrong side. With wrong sides together, fold each length side to the center and continue along the entire length of the strap. Then you'll fold it in half again with wrong sides together so the raw edges are in the middle. Continue down the entire length of the strap. Top stitch each length side with an 1/8 inch seam allowance. Next, we're going to add the hardware. Thread one end of the strap over the center bar of the slider buckle. Fold the end of the strap back onto itself about 1 inch to the underside. Top stitch the end of the strap to itself either with a single line, 2 lines, or even a box with the X in the middle for reinforcement, whatever you'd like. Next, have the underside of the strap face up and put your thumb on the underside. Slide your thumb all the way down the length of the strap to make sure it's not twisted. On the opposite end, without the buckle, you're going to add the swivel hook, so the flat side of the hardware is against the underside of the strap. Make sure the strap isn't twisted, then thread the end of the strap over the center bar of the slider buckle. Again, double check that your strap isn't twisted. To complete the strap, thread the end through the remaining swivel hook. Fold the end of the strap back onto itself about an inch, and top stitch the end of the strap to itself just like before.
Congratulations! Your Audrey bag is complete. Attach one swivel hook to each D-ring on your bag, and you can begin filling your tote with essentials and more. Thanks so much for sewing with me today. I truly hope that you learned some new techniques and tips for working with different fabrics and hardware. If you liked this pattern, I encourage you to check out the rest of our pattern line for more professional looking projects. Also, if you liked this video and want to see more tutorials, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and comment. We love to hear your feedback and read each and every one of your comments. Share photos of your completed project using hashtag Sallie Tomato and hashtag Audrey Bag. We'd love to see how you're using your new minimalist bag. Thanks for watching and see you next time.